Habitual checking of social media may impact young adolescents' brain development. Habitual checking of social media may impact young adolescents' brain development. You're listening to Technical News Reading, presented by Hakeem Alibokas Alexander on Spreaker, social podcasting, presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's reading focus comes to us from neurosciencenews.com and is titled Habitual Checking of Social Media May Impact Young Adolescents' Brain Development. Alright. It's published under the categories of Neuroscience on January 3rd, 2023. Alright. Summary. Adolescents' brains may become more sensitive when anticipating social rewards and punishments over time with increased social media usage. The findings reveal how social media The findings reveal how social media usage could have important and long-standing consequences for brain development. Source: UNC Chapel Hill. In one of the first long-term studies on adolescent neural development and technology use, researchers at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill report Researchers at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill report adolescents' habitual checking of social media is linked with subsequent changes in how their brains respond to the world around them. The study, published today in JAMA Pediatrics, reveals that adolescents' brains may become more sensitive when anticipating social rewards and punishments over time with increased social media usage. The findings suggest that children who grow up checking social media more often are becoming hypersensitive to feedback from their peers, said Eva Telzer, a professor in UNC Chapel Hill's Psychology and Neuroscience Department and a corresponding author. Researchers tracked 169 students recruited from public middle schools in rural North Carolina over 3 years. At the beginning of the study, participants reported how often they checked 3 popular social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Their answers ranged from less than once to more than 20 times a day. Participants underwent yearly brain imaging sessions while completing the social incentive delay task, which measures brain activity when anticipating social feedback from peers. While this increased sensitivity to social feedback may promote future compulsive social media use, it could also reflect a possible adaptive behavior that will allow teens to navigate an increasingly digital world, says Maria Mazza, a doctoral student in psychology and one of the study's 2 lead authors. Social media platforms deliver a constant and unpredictable stream of social feedback in the form of likes, comments, notifications, and messages. These social inputs are frequent inconsistent, and often rewarding, making them especially powerful reinforcers that can condition users to check social media repeatedly, said Kara Fox, co-lead author of the study and a doctoral student in psychology. Other studies have shown that 78% of 13 to 17-year-olds report checking their mobile devices at least hourly. 35% of teens report using at least one of the top 5 social media platforms almost constantly. The study findings suggest that checking social media repeatedly among young teens ages 12 to 13 may be associated with changes in how their brains develop over a 3-year period. The brains of adolescents who checked social media often, more than 15 times per day, became more sensitive to social feedback. There's an image here, and the image is of a person's hand, of course, suggestively a teen, because they've got a jeans jacket on and jeans on, and who knows what that is, where their feet are, what kind of wall that is. Anyway, the caption reads, is a recap of something that we had read before, which says, social media platforms deliver a constant and unpredictable stream of social feedback in the form of likes, comments, and notifications and messages. The image is in the public domain. Most adolescents begin using technology and social media at one of the most important periods for brain development during our lifetime, said co-author Mitch Prinstein, or Prinstein. Let's say Prinstein. It's Prinstein, so I'm going to say Prinstein. Said Mitch Prinstein, who also serves as the Chief Science Officer for the American Psychological Association. Interesting. Our research demonstrates that checking behaviors on social media could have long-standing and important consequences for adolescents' neural development, which is critical for parents and policymakers to consider when understanding the benefits and potential harms associated with teen technology use. Additional authors include Se-Ju Kwan, a doctoral student in the Department of Psychology and Neuroscience, and Jessica Flannery, a previous postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Psychology and Neuroscience. Funding. The research was supported by funding from the National Institutes of Health and the Winston Family Foundation through its Winston National Center on Technology Use, Brain and Psychological Development, established at UNC Chapel Hill. About this brain development research news. Author Kia Bell. Source UNC Chapel Hill. Contact Kia Bell, UNC Chapel Hill. And the image we looked at earlier here, when you can see it on neurosciencenews.com, is in the public domain. Original research is under closed access and is titled Association of Habitual Checking Behaviors on Social Media with Longitudinal Functional Brain Development by Eva Telzer and others, JAMA Pediatrics. You've been listening to Technical News Reading, presented by Hakeem Alibokas Alexander on Spreaker, social podcasting by iHeartMedia, in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's reading focus comes to us from neurosciencenews.com, and Neuroscience News continues with an abstract from the paper titled Association of Habitual Checking Behaviors on Social Media with Longitudinal Functional Brain Development. Importance. Social media platforms provide adolescents with unprecedented opportunities for social interactions during a critical development period when the brain is especially sensitive to social feedback. Objective. To explore how adolescents' frequency of checking behaviors on social media platforms is associated with longitudinal changes in functional brain development across adolescence. Yes, attention. Design, setting, and participants. A 3-year longitudinal cohort study of functional magnetic resonance imaging (fMRI) among 6th and 7th grade students recruited from 3 public middle schools in rural North Carolina. Exposures. At Wave 1, participants reported the frequency at which they checked Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Main outcome or measure. Neural responses to the social incentive delay task when anticipating receiving social feedback measured annually using fMRI for 3 years. Participants saw a cue that indicated whether the social feedback, adolescent faces with emotional expressions, would be a reward, punishment, or neutral. After a delay, a target appeared and students responded by pressing a button as quickly as possible. A display of social feedback depended on trial type and reaction time. Results. Of 178 participants recruited at age 12 years, 169 participants, mean age about 12.89 years, range 11.93 to 14.52 years, about 91, female 38, black 60, Latinx 50, 29.6 white, and 15 multiracial. Met the inclusion criteria. Participants with habitual social media checking behavior showed lower neural sensitivity to social anticipation at age 12 years compared with those with non-habitual checking behaviors in the left amygdala, posterior insula, and ventral striatum. Among those with habitual checking behaviors, there were longitudinal increases in the left amygdala. What's the PI again? Left. Wow, there's a lot of. Yes. The left amygdala.
That's not what it was.
I'm gonna have to leave out some of these abbreviations here. I'm going to go to conclusion and relevance. The results of this cohort study suggest that social media checking behaviors in early adolescence may be associated with changes in the brain's sensitivity to social rewards and punishments. Further research examining long-term associations between social media use, adolescent neural development, and psychology adjustment is needed to understand the effects of a ubiquitous influence on development for today's adolescents. NeuroscienceNews.com asks that you join our newsletter. Sign up to receive our recent neuroscience headlines and summaries sent to your email once a day, totally free. We hate spam and only use your email to contact you about newsletters. You can cancel your subscription anytime. NeuroscienceNews.com suggests that you see also, under the categories of genetics, neurology, and neuroscience from July 15, 2022, it's titled, Scientists Zero In on Genetic Causes of Parkinson's. Neuroscience News posts science research from news. Science research news from labs, universities, hospitals, and news departments around the world. Science articles can cover neuroscience, psychology, AI, robotics, neurology, brain cancer, mental health, machine learning, autism, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, brain research, depression, and other topics related to cognitive sciences. You've been listening to Technical News Reading, presented by Hakeem Alibokis Alexander on Spreaker. Social podcasting by iHeartMedia, presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's reading focus has come to us from neurosciencenews.com and is titled, Habitual Checking of Social Media May Impact Young Adolescents' Brain Development. It was published on January 3rd, 2023, under the categories of neuroscience. Visit neurosciencenews.com to find out more about this neuroscience news research for yourself.